The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, episode number 374 on this 15th day of February 2024. Tonight's show is, as always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com. The SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts such as the Corner Booth Podcast and Rise to the Occasion. Always good to hear from those guys over there. And tonight we are joined by Smiling Mike Davis, fresh off his trip to the Super Bowl last week in Las Vegas, Nevada. Mike Davis, never listened, never called. Smiling Mike Davis. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah,
Mike, you went down to the Super Bowl. I heard you're going down there. We went for dinner last end of January there. When you first bought your tickets, did you have high hopes that your Philadelphia Eagles are going to be in the big game?
that was the plan. Yeah. Last year, never seen my Eagles win before. 0-7 in my presence. Last year, kind of considered going. Would have been 0-8 if I would have gone, and thought, well, maybe this is the year. And so, yeah, that was part of the lure to buy the ticket early for sure.
I keep my record too as well. Like when I go to Yankee games, I'm under 500. I've been to a lot of games over the years and everything else, and it kind of like maybe I shouldn't go. If your team's on a streak, you're like, okay, maybe, because me and Dave talked about last week about all the bullshit that happens when you start talking about the superstitions fan has. When they were winning, did it ever cross your mind maybe I shouldn't, because like you said, you were 0-7?
Well, last year it played into it, and no, but this year I was committed. If they were there, I was going.
So when they lost to who'd they lose to? They lost to
Everybody.
in the playoffs. Who was their last game against? Was that against Detroit, wasn't it?
Yeah, they got beat they got beat before they went to Detroit. Who went to Detroit to play them?
They lost. They lost Tampa.
Tampa Bay beat Philly and went to Detroit. Yeah,
that's right. And then so when Philly lost, was it still like for sure I'm going to the game, or was there ever a thought of giving the secondary putting those things on SeatGeek.com?
Yeah, no, we were pretty committed to go. Although one of the guys that I went with is he's a bit of a comedy act, and he said, you know what? He said, I'm not above selling these things for $20,000 and taking that to the Spearmint Rhino.
What, when you were in Vegas, it came up?
No, before we went. Just as like I said, bit of a comedy act. But yeah,
So how was the trip? When did you fly down, and where'd you stay? And before we get to the actual game day festivities.
Yeah, no, we booked our tickets. We flew Friday, got there early evening, and then left Monday morning. But Friday, got there kind of late that day. We about 3 months ago, my brother texted me, who came with us, my brother Tim. And he said, I just looked at hotels. There's one hotel left, like one, so it was Park MGM for $1,100 a night. So I said, well, we better buy it then. One hotel that had rooms, leading up to it. I guess they probably released some, and I saw that there were some others available. But so we were at Park MGM, which is actually a pretty decent spot. Would be a great place if you're going to the hockey game. You walk right out the doors, and you're right at T-Mobile there. Yeah.
And that's the pyramid one, isn't it? The MGM?
No, that's the
Luxor.
Oh,
the
MGM is the big green one, but we were at Park MGM, which is the old Monte Carlo. So right next to New York.
That's all right there. Like, no, it's a great time. When you the lead up to the game, like me and Mike have been to Vegas a time or two together, and one we probably shouldn't talk about. We won't talk about ever again. Now that we are happily married and everything else, it's one of those things. But What was Vegas like? Was it more like football centric over the weekend? Because it obviously it changes over the years and over the weekend to weekend it changes. But was it very football centric around the city, or was it just another weekend in Vegas?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was for sure football centric. Lots of it was obviously lots of guys, right? It was a spot for sure. But yeah, everywhere you went, it was guys were there to watch the game, talk to some of the cabbies and Uber drivers, and they said Sunday was awful because everybody hunkers down, right? They're either going to the game or they're going to a casino, and they're not moving around, right? They were kind of thinking it was going to be good, but they said it was awful because guys picked their spot and they're there. So it was busy everywhere. Tough to get to places for dinner or whatever, but yeah, it was definitely a football crowd for sure.
So was it then like the energy was probably a little bit of different, not so, especially on Saturday night. I imagine the party scene was a little subdued because everybody was kind of no one wanted to fuck up their Super Bowl Sunday. They had their plans and no one wanted to have to
No,
call it
man.
dead. Or was it the
Yeah,
same
Vegas
thing?
usually that kind of thought process starts in the morning in Vegas, and then by I don't know what time, but it kind of fades away, right? Like
11:30 a.m.
probably have an early night tonight, but I mean, yeah, Vegas kind of takes hold, and but we did take it somewhat easy that night, and but guys were partying, and only 60,000 people were going to the game, so or whatever 68,000 or whatever it was, but the one we spent some time at the Cosmo that day, and that was KC headquarters. I think Casey. And so, I mean, there was lots of fans and lots of jerseys and stuff like that. And yeah, that was kind of cool. Actually, we are having a drink there, and somebody's like, "Hey, check out the craps table over there." And so I walked down, and there's the actual cool Kelce playing craps at the.
No.
That's the Kelce. Jason Kelce was hanging out there playing some craps, so it was kind of cool.
I'm glad you said the actual cool Kelsey, because me and Dave are on the 1420 land. We're actually on the. Like, I don't hate the guy. I don't hate Travis Kelsey, and I did not do with old Swifty at all. That guy's a fucking nozzle. Like, he can't get out of his own way. That guy's an idiot.
He was a D-bag long before he started dating Taylor.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, when you're apologizing because you bumped the coach that's going to the Hall of Fame in the game because you think you should be in the game, like, get a grip. He's such a tool.
Yeah, just an absolute fucking idiot. Game day, like, you wake up, like, I've always wondered about these massive events. Like, I've been to some like big USC games where there's 90,000 people in the building, but it's nothing like the Super Bowl, because that's just a huge event. And Vegas is a different beast. And I don't know what the parking lots are like and tailgating. Was there any? Because everybody flies to Vegas, like no one lives there, right? Like, not no one, but people. It's not like you're not your home team playing and everything else. Was there any tailgating going on outside of Allegiant?
Well, it wasn't. You actually couldn't. The security and ticket was on the Mandalay side of the bridge, so you actually held. You couldn't even cross the bridge if you didn't have a ticket.
They had
So
a secure zone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and I don't know how they controlled the other side, but they obviously did. And so when you got to the other side of the bridge, if you've ever been there, both sides
Yeah.
were massive parties. Like the one side we were in, it was called Tailgate, or no, Touchdown Club, and it was like a structure that they had built that would have fit 3,000 people plus 5,000 people outside, big stage. Billy Idol was playing, and they had a bunch
No.
of other. Oh yeah.
That's worth the price of
And
admission right there, man. Billy Idol playing.
And that was in
yeah.
the secure zone or before or outside the secure zone?
No, in the
Inside.
secure zone for a ticket holder. Like you actually had to have a Touchdown Club ticket, which we had. So most of the tickets had one of those clubs attached to them. And
Okay.
so it was 11-3. And yeah, and it was cool. Like, I mean, I can't believe the structures they build for that thing. Like, you walk and it was all, once you got in there, it was all free booze, all free food, good food. They had sushi, hot dogs, hamburgers, brisket, kind of the whole spread. And you had 4 hours to hang out and just kind of get pre-gamed.
And then, sorry, just one more question to get into the secure zone. Was it like airport security light, like metal detectors, pat downs kind of thing, or
Yeah, metal detector. Yeah, everything out of your pockets and pick it up on the other side. And yeah, it was
Same as going to a
kind of like
Hurricanes
most.
game, Dave. Same thing. Walking into the Sportsplex.
it's like going
Yeah,
to the
whatever. Who
right?
cares?
You need to implement that at the Bulls. Hey,
Yeah.
make it,
A little
Pat
bit more
down Dick at
facility.
Spitz. More
Yeah.
people be turning away. Get the fuck out of here, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's Billy Idol. Fuck, did he sing Dancing with Myself? You don't even know, hey.
He sure did.
Probably-
Yeah, he started
Probably
with it.
6 times. Yeah.
He should just keep playing it.
Yeah.
Fuck, the hits
White
just
wedding, Moni, and dancing with
Dance
myself.
with Myself. Hair skate fucking metal right there. That's all that is. 100%. When you
How'd Billy look? Little weathered.
Jesus Christ, Billy.
What's that?
How did Billy Idol look? Little weathered.
You know what? Actually, pretty good. Like he's thin and he's fit. Like he's, a lot of those old rockers. I think they've kind of taken care of themselves, right? They put some hard miles on in their big years, and then after that, they kind of, they seem to like he looked in good shape, moving good. Like oh yeah, just like he was 35 again.
You know, I could care less that you went to the Super Bowl. I'm jealous that you saw Billy Idol, man. Like that's awesome. I
mean,
saw
it's
him
still.
at like '04 in Kelowna, I think, is the last time I saw him.
I bet you he had the same outfit on. He still wears the leather pants and the leather jacket with the chains hanging down. Like, oh yeah, he still pulls her off.
You get into the field like everything else. Like when you walk in, like actually my biggest question when like you wake up on Sunday morning and you say I'm going to the Super Bowl. Like this is kind of neat. Like what were you expecting? And it did like when you woke up at the hotel, whatever stupor you were in, if you had a couple of Caesars after to get going or else, what were you expecting going in?
Yeah, I mean, just the hype and obviously everybody's in the same zone, right? So it's, and I would say, generally speaking, a lot of, real true football fans, shockingly, there was a little bit of corporate stuff and then the odd, there's a guy behind us that had, I don't know, there was grandma and grandpa and maybe son and wife and like 5 kids that were under 8 years old. And I was like, what? Like, why are those kids going? But generally speaking, football fans, jerseys, some opposing jerseys, but like just a good vibe. Like everybody was kind of obviously pretty pumped and it was definitely a good atmosphere, definitely a good vibe. I was jacked, of course. Like, you wake up earlier and you think it's kind of one of those once in a lifetime things, right? So it was I was excited for it and it didn't disappoint for sure.
And then Vegas is, I think, Mountain Standard Time as well. So the game started at 4:30 Vegas time as well. Is that right? Yeah.
3:30 there.
3:30 there.
Pacific
Okay.
there, yeah.
So you're at you're outside tailgating while doing your what is it? What are we calling it? The President's Club?
Touchdown Club.
The Touchdown Club. So
it's not Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know.
Fucking Mike Davis.
Yeah, that was a different club.
Yeah.
So you got your feedback on.
We try not to go there here, but yeah.
No. And and then what time did you guys go into the actual barn?
I think the first thing was 2:15 when they could take the field. Like some of the kickers took the field, and I wanted to be there for that. Like so, it was kind of like Billy Idol was finishing at 2:30, so I had to wait for Moni to play. So it was kind of like a little bit. So I didn't catch his last tune. I don't know what he ended with, but I caught Moni, and then I left. And the kickers were on the field, and then they kind of, from there it was kind of, generally speaking, like a regular season game, right? They come out a little bit more, obviously, cheering when each team came out. Lots of boos for KC. Definitely a San Fran hometown crowd for sure. But yeah, atmosphere was great in there. Everybody was, lots of big lineups for the beers. Everybody was kind of enjoying themselves, right, and taking it all in. So.
And then does your Touchdown Club ticket like count for free beers in your section then too, or no? Like no.
No.
Well, you never know. Like I don't know. Like if you're getting
buy your whatever those big the king cans are, those 32 ounces is all they sell for whatever. I can't remember how much they were. You kind of just close your eyes and tap your card when
Just tap your
you're in
card.
Vegas.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I was in
Yeah.
like Vegas or a little bit more. I remember a couple summers ago. I was in New York there and fucking at Yankee Stadium, those King cans, and even in Toronto actually at the Sky Dome or Rogers Center, where the fuck they call it, they were like fucking 32, 34 bucks a beer. Like holy, and it's like, well, I'm here, so what are you gonna do? Like it's just one of those things.
It's they're
Vegas,
too
Vegas, you kind of get used to that, eh? Like the Friday night we got there, and there's this bar that I'd been to before. So I said, let's go. We were kind of close to the Wynn, so
Yeah,
let's go to the Wynn. I know this bar. It's called the Aft. We're sitting there. There's four of us, and we each ordered a drink, three margaritas, and another guy ordered some tequila, and uh, and so my buddy Lloyd from Tabor, he big wheels the hundy out to the waitress, right?
you're gonna need
Gives her the
more.
old, and she leaves and comes back a couple minutes later, and she's like, "You're a little short here, sir. It's 1:15." Like, holy
It's
shit, for
insane.
for four cocktails.
It's
Jesus.
act like talk about this a little bit, Mike. When we went down there years ago, 97 or whatever it was, and fuck, you could sit there for fucking all day and $1.99, all you can eat and all you can drink kind of deal.
Yeah,
It's a different spot now. Vegas. I mean, it's still fun and everything else, but like it's even it's crazy how like the markup people. Well, this is what it is. It's just what it is. Like you can't argue. They have the venue. You go, all right, this is what it is.
yeah, and there's nowhere. Yeah, like I mean, I remember you used to go to those little convenience stores inside the casino because it was, you could grab a beer there for a couple bucks or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now those are the same price. Like they got it all figured out, right? $7 Gatorade, $12 beer, like just
Yeah, that was what my brother Wilbur. That was his go-to move, and he fucking got me onto that one. Like, I can't remember what year it was. He go, yeah, go over here. That same beer is $4. Okay, yeah, good. So we'd walk around, get what? Yeah, not anymore. But anyways, get back to the football game. Like you're an Eagles fan. When you were sitting down, what were you and your friends? Who you hoping was going to win the football game and everything else? Like, going in. Did one of the fan bases kind of like I'm going to cheer for these guys because they're having a lot of fun, or the fan base because it's got to be a bit, I don't know, polarizing, I guess, when you're in a situation like that. Like this is great. And like did one fan base piss you off a little over the weekend? Because that can happen too. Where you go, this is fucking, because you didn't have a horse in the race or a dog in the fight. Did one fan base go, these fucking guys?
yeah, no, and I mean I probably went in with that preconceived, right? Because Kelce and Swift and whatever, right? Like it was kind of, I mean, so then, yeah, for sure the KC fans annoyed me. Um, but actually there's I mean, a lot of the KC fans are pretty down home, right? The Kansas people they're not Swifties, right? They're pretty, yeah. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think that San Fran, I mean, I like the Brock Purdy story, and I like there's lots of guys in that team that I've been a fan of. So, like McCaffrey's obviously great to watch and stuff. So I was all in on San Fran. I didn't bet a whole bunch because I just, how do you bet against Mahomes and KC, right? It's just they're, like I said, it was a point and a half, and it was. But I just thought that if the chance comes and KC's got to go down the field to score to win, it's gonna happen. And sure enough,
And sure shit it did.
Well, as far as fan on fan violence, at the Super Bowl, people aren't laying down that kind of dough to get in a fucking tilt, right? This isn't the nosebleeds. You're not having guys going all only wearing his puck, fucking.
it was a pretty friendly crowd, really overall.
Yeah.
Like everybody was, because like you said, I mean, I don't know how many guys there would have actually had a dog in the hunt. There would have been, there's probably more football fans than KC or San Fran hardcore fans, right? I would say maybe there was probably 30% of each, maybe not even. And then, a bunch of guys that were going either way, right? Because you don't get, most guys got to, decided they were going more than 2 weeks before going.
Well, and that's just it. Like you're going to the game, and the Super Bowl is more of the event than it is the game. Like, yeah, and you could probably attest to this. Like you're like us watching here at home on TV. It's the event. Like even like Deanne watch and sometimes like other people watch because it's the event. The game is secondary. Was the game almost secondary at one point? Like when you first walked in to the stadium, was it almost like there's this isn't a football. This is bigger than a football game. Did that ever come across your mind?
Yeah, I think, like I said, of the fans that weren't either team, right? I think that they're going for the event and for, I mean, the halftime show, and they had a DJ before while they were warming up, and I mean, it was a good atmosphere in there. But for sure, there's a lot of people there for for the event. But yeah, I mean, I was there for the football game, and I was hoping it was a good game, and I thought it was a really good game. I conversed with Dave a little bit on text, and he said it was a bit of a snoozer through three quarters, but I like good football, and I thought both teams, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, were really good. Like it was they were dialed in, right? There's a reason both those teams made it. They were good. Like they were good defensively, and a couple of small mistakes, but not a pile of drop balls and blown coverages and stuff. It was a good football game. I felt like.
Oh, sorry. Before we get into the game, I just wanted to ask one more quick question. With this being you could still smell the fresh paint on Allegiant Stadium. What's that barn like? Like, and compare it to like the last football stadium I was in is Phoenix, where the Cardinals play. So is it just shinier and newer than that, or is it just
Yeah, shinier, newer, more concourse space, like just kind of everything's just, yeah, up a notch from there for sure. I mean, really, I guess the new age stadiums are Dallas and that, and SoFi, I guess, would be the probably, and maybe Minnesota, I guess. But yeah, I think that, yeah, it's an impressive stadium. Like walking over that bridge and looking at the stadium, like it's a good looking stadium, and it kind of gets you fired up when you see that, right? And you get inside and it doesn't disappoint. It's yeah, spacious. And the one end, like where they had the DJ, typically they have, there's a bunch of bands that there's a stage up there where they'll have bands come up, and and all that kind of stuff, and it's really good. Yeah.
and is that on the Torch side of the stadium?
Right. Yeah.
That's for the DJ and shit. They hook all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff up. Yeah.
Last
And that
time I
area would be I don't know if it's a football field, but it's several hockey rinks, like a flat space, a bunch of concessions and beer stands and 50-50 and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a wide open, cool spot.
And then you
Grandma
were in earlier enough to take a walk around the stadium, or did you take a lap just to
Not a
check
full
it all
lap,
out?
but
Yep.
kind of that area. We were very close to that area, so yeah, spent a little time there, and yeah.
get Grandma Dynamite selling 50-50s, Legion Stadium, fucking roll things up a little bit, get things going. Last time I was in Vegas was I went to a Huey. Fuck, don't laugh at me, you fuckers. Went to a Huey Lewis concert, and it's right when they were starting to build that place. It was 2019, I think it was. And yeah, just and then where the hockey rink is, everything else. Vegas is like we've always thought that it was going to be it was a great idea that to have pro sports in Vegas, and hockey did it first, and then now football did it, and eventually, and baseball if they can ever get out of their own way with the Oakland A's moving there. Is Vegas an underrated city for pro sports? Do you think? Like both of you, like I'm curious. Like it's because no one's from Vegas, right? So it's all transplanted fans.
But yeah, I mean, to me,
It's a
how
no-brainer to me.
right? I went to a regular season game there this year, and it was an afternoon game. You go watch the night game in a sports book. There's Knights fans. It makes all the sense in the world. That place, it's the best place to see a game, in my opinion, because you're in the mood. You're kind of, you're not, and for me, most, I mean, if I go to most games, it's kind of in and out, right? If it's a hockey game or whatever, but you're kind of all day in the mode, and there's lots of places to get in the mode, and to have stuff downtown like that that's the only way that's the only way to do it, I think, for those stadiums, because everybody rolls out after, and it's just kind of continues on. So
And then you got something to do afterwards. Like, don't have a 7 o'clock game. Have a 5 o'clock game or a 6 o'clock game, so you can go to another show, another this or that afterwards. I kind of understand over the years why they weren't in Vegas because of the betting, but since NHL, NBA, NFL, and on got hand in hand with the betting scene with everything else, it's the biggest sponsors they got, and they I think it's a no-brainer, and that's why it's worked.
I would guess that the Raiders and the Golden Knights have the biggest percentage of road fans at every game, because fuck, if you live in Edmonton, Calgary, Minnesota, Winnipeg,
Tour packages,
why,
you can do whatever it is.
Why wouldn't you take a roadie and watch your team play? Right? Like, it's the perfect.
The Raiders was the highest selling aftermarket ticket this year. So that goes to say something right there. And they're obviously not that great. And it's interesting there. They don't consider like the fans there. Like, you talk to Vegas people, they're like, the sports fans there, they're like, the Golden Knights are our team. The Raiders, they're from
Still Oakland,
right? Which, I never thought about that, but it makes sense, right? I mean, it was the first one, but it was also their team. Like, they've never been somewhere else. It is the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
No, I've heard that those games, like Deanne went a few years ago, and she said it was unbelievable how the event was just fantastic and on. So it's the game, whatever, because the game's a game, but the event was so great for a Golden Knights game. She was there with the Leafs fans were there and everything else. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
But what makes it great, I thought, like, I agree 100%. But what makes it great is there's actually true hockey fans and Vegas fans. And I thought, and like, you talked to them, like, both times I've been, the people that have talked to around me are season ticket holders. They go to 20, 30 games a year, and they actually know hockey. Like, that's what I was shocked at, right? I mean, they have adopted that team and they actually are hockey fans. I thought it would be an away crowd, but it's Las Vegas people going to Vegas Golden Knights game.
No, I think it's fantastic. Let's get
Cool.
back to the game a little bit. Actually, you know what? Fuck the game. Who cares? Get to halftime.
No. First, before that, like, so were you in the seat?
We're not breaking the fucking game down here.
No, all three songs. No, that's what I want to. Let's go chronologically. So, did you listen to the chick sing, and then Luke Donald? Who the fuck was that iron face tattooed guy?
Yeah, who? Drake? No, not. Yeah, sorry, can't remember. But yeah, the America the Beautiful.
Yeah. Were you in your seat for all that stuff, or are you getting
Yeah.
And everybody was.
What is that tattooed face guy? He was good. He's got a nice voice. He looks like a moron.
I hated it. I hated it.
I mean, 90% of the fans were in their seats by that point, for sure. Maybe 95%. Like, I mean, there wasn't people rolling into the game at 3:25, right? Like most games, right? It was the stands were packed at that point. And
Post Malone.
Post Malone. He's got a good voice. He looks like an idiot. There's no getting around that.
I didn't care for this. I didn't care for his rendition. And then Reba, she did well.
Yeah. Reba looks pretty good too, for an old rock. Well, not an old rocker, but she can still rock the leathers too.
Oh yeah, she's obviously that's a pretty clean face for 68 years. I didn't see too many wrinkles, but success has its privileges. Maybe like she can get a little body work done here and there.
Well, the three of us, look all right for our age.
Yeah.
Well, if you're all wrinkled, whatever, you're probably not getting asked to sing the anthem, honestly.
Wow, no, I haven't been asked to sing much these the past couple of years.
Well, there's an open spot that Spit's saying this summer just for you, Dave, for the opening for the Bulls. Forget the game, whatever. The game's the game, whatever. Did you say in your seats for the that? Because I don't think you're the like the halftime show. To me, it's been lately. It's been a bit. What was the lead up? Because I want to know what the production of it is. Like, is it just a rush of people sorting shit out, and all of a sudden there's just there's people running around stages, and what was that like? Because I've always wondered about that.
Like dead calm, but yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I was in my seat. I knew it was coming. I went and got myself a whatever they are, 32
$38
ouncer.
beer, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I was going to watch it, and yeah, they just start walking the stages out like it's calm as anything. Honestly, I mean, it's so choreographed, and
It's
that stage
rehearsed.
came together, and I was like, that's cool. Like, I mean, because the way they locked it together, and then when there's lights on it and speakers and all, it's like, yeah, I was like, it was pretty cool to see it come together. And then yeah, I stayed in my seat. Halftime show for sure would be better at home because we were behind his right shoulder up in the second deck, right? So you really couldn't see much of the performance, but
Hey,
sound
I forgot his
wise,
name too. You can say his name. I forgot just till now. It was Usher.
Usher.
You forgot
Yeah.
too. That's how good it
My
was. And you
my
were
daughter
there.
was my daughter was texting me, who is that, Alicia Keys with him? And I'm like, I don't have a
I
clue.
think so.
Um, but yeah, that I mean, like the sound is unbelievable. Like how they put that. I mean, obviously there's lots of sound that's I mean, but when a concert comes in, they bring their speaker towers and
Yeah.
everything. They don't have that for that, and it was like the sound was so clean and so good. Like it was impressive actually how they put that together, and obviously a new stadium, so I'm sure that helps. But yeah, it was like a concert. It was loud and crisp, so it was
I
good.
would imagine then on the big screen you were probably getting similar to the feed that we had at home. Like so, and were you watching then more on the big screen than actually trying to see what the hell's going down on the field, or a little bit of both kind of thing?
I think I was more. I mean, there's too much stuff going down on the field, so I was watching that, like all the little side shows and the fans and all that stuff, as opposed to the screen. So
And was there a ton of fans on the field as well for that show?
yeah,
Like that you
yeah,
have the
yeah.
proper wrist. You can.
I don't know how many there would have been, maybe 1,000 or something. But as soon as once they got the stage set up, and then the dancers came out and stuff, then they opened the one gate and they just all sprinted, and then they were kind of up in front of the stage and stuff. Yeah.
I wouldn't have paid $3 or open my fucking curtain juice in the backyard to watch that dribble. That was
And
awful.
what would you say about 2/3 of the people remained in the seats, and a third was in on the concourse getting beers and visiting and
Yeah, 2/3 or better, I would say. Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, it's part of the show, right? It's
Oh,
yeah. Well, I
100%.
mean, to go and
you want to take it
to
all in?
go and miss the halftime show would be yeah. So I get it, Duskin. Like you call it dribble, but it's I mean, it's part of the show, and I'm not an Usher fan, but I mean, he's obviously talented. He's got fans and whatever, so I can appreciate that stuff. So it's again, it was part of the whole entertainment. So.
See, actually, you know what?
Important.
I would have stopped. I would have watched the first like 3 or 4 minutes and then been like, you know what, this isn't for me.
You might have got tapping your toe a little bit. You don't know that for
I
sure.
don't. Okay, man, I might have got to 10 minutes, but our dear friend, the real deal, Rob O'Neill, he would have left as soon as the halftime whistle went. He would have been schmoozing up in the concourse. He wouldn't
You
have checked out Usher. Not a chance.
you don't know that. You don't know that with him. He might have worn an Usher outfit.
You're completely right, Mike, because
He could have completely fooled you on that one. That guy.
he would have been
couldn't
wearing his
call that right
Detroit
now.
Lions jersey, fucking saying, "We got robbed. We got robbed." Niners shouldn't even be there.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He might have been have to sit in his seat, like the Usher might, not Usher, the Usher might have come to him and say, "You sit in this fucking seat, otherwise the next steps you take is out the fucking door."
He didn't care.
Yeah, he might have not have made halftime. Good point. I've been kicked out of better places than that with him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's oh geez, could you imagine? Just oh yeah, we could go on for hours on
Another
that.
important question I forgot to ask from your seats: how long back and forth to get a beer? How long back and forth to take a piss?
Yeah, it was the beer lines weren't bad. They had those little walk-through things. You just flash your card at the front, and then you
And
walk
take
through,
your own. Yeah.
Nice.
pick your own, and you walk out, and I guess it bills you. And then but The piss lines were long. Like if you were a lady, it was straight in. And in fact, I saw a couple guys hit the ladies' washroom. I didn't make that choice, but there was, I mean, that stadium again, well built, newer, right? I mean, I don't know. Did you wait? Yeah, 10 minutes. You're back in your seat, maybe. Beer and a piss.
So not too bad. And you went during the busy times, like at quarter breaks and shit like that, or
Well, like I said, I tried to catch that halftime thing, and then they stopped selling at the end of third quarter. So you kind of had to do a little prep work there and make sure that you didn't get caught without one, right?
That's odd to me because like, who's driving? Like, who the fuck's driving? Sell right to the end. Who gives a fuck? No one's
that's
fucking.
an excellent point.
No one's jumping in their fucking Toyota Tercel, fucking leaving the fucking stadium to fuck.
You got to walk 45 minutes before
Yeah,
you
sell right to the end, and no one likes to make money like the NFL does. Fuck it, sell till fucking Swifty walked off with Travis Kelce with the Super Bowl trophy. Who gives a fuck? No one's
Yeah.
pissed. Like whatever.
Yeah. And you think Nevada has booze laws? Because you can, I don't know why they would do
That's
that.
that's the one place in the fucking state that has a cutoff then before.
Yeah, you could go outside and get a beer probably. You can't get one in the stadium.
Some dude sitting there with a cooler with a fucking box of Bud
As
Light.
soon as
Here,
care zone, right?
save yourself $32. Here's a beer. Whatever. $2.
$4.
$2.
Yeah, but that was one of the goals, honestly, was to, when we talked in the morning, right? I mean, you think, you get a little excited about the game. One of the goals was to enjoy a beer in the fourth quarter. Because I've had beers in the fourth quarter that were, maybe you felt like you were enjoying it, but the head was hanging a little bit. And I've been in fourth quarters where I wasn't able to enjoy a beer. So that was a goal. And we were able to accomplish that, kept her at a level where we actually cracked one in the fourth quarter and it was, still tasted good. So
Did you guys have a gummy before going into the game, or no? You stayed off that stuff too.
no, nothing like that day. No, not for me.
Oh, okay. And then so now let's get this. So we're at halftime now. Second,
Odd
third quarter
question.
starts.
Whatever.
I'm curious. Like a little buzz goes a long way, man. So now fourth quarter time.
Yeah, but a lot of buzz goes a little way sometimes. Fuck.
Did it get pretty quiet in the stadium then? Like as the game got closer, like it seemed like there was the appropriate amount of noise before the snaps and everything like that. But you could kind of feel the tension as that game came down to it in the fourth quarter. Was it tense? Could you feel the energy in the stadium?
Yeah, for sure. But it turned into a little bit more of a hometown crowd. Like KC's third downs were loud and but not loud enough to interrupt what those guys are used to, right? But yeah, guys got loud still at the end there. But yeah, there was for sure. Generally speaking, other than third down, she was pretty. It was pretty quiet. And like you said, everybody was kind of on the edge of your seat because obviously it was a real tight game. Anybody could have won that last quarter and the OT. So
Did you see Swifty?
did I?
Yeah.
No, I on the screen. Somebody said on TV they showed her like 8 times. They showed her twice in the stadium, which I appreciated. The first time they panned up to her maybe in the first quarter, and then I don't know, sometime in the first half, they panned up to her when she chugged that beer.
Yeah.
And they got about half the crowd booed, and that was the last time we saw her. Perfect.
Yeah, it's nothing. I could give a fiddler's fuck, whatever. Put her on, put fucking whatever. I don't give a fuck. But it's overall, like the game ended. The game ended. The Chiefs won. Like I think we kind of all thought was going to happen, or we all knew it was going to happen. But we thought just maybe it won't. But was anybody surprised? And I'll start with you, Mike. Were you surprised at all that Mahomes fucking just did what he does, and the Chiefs did what he does, and that was it?
Yeah, that last drive, the last drive in the fourth quarter, and the last drive of the game were their best two offensive drives, right? Like other than that, it was not sloppy, but it wasn't as dialed. I mean, obviously play calling, Andy Reid's a genius, right? Like, I mean, he was saving that stuff for the right time, and obviously, I think that I mean that kind of coaching pays off, right? You get a Hall of Fame quarterbacker and a Hall of Fame coach, no different than Belichick and Brady, right? I mean, I think that they dialed it up, and they knew what he knew what plays they were going to run, that they were saving for the end, and they used them up, and I mean, every single play, they never had a long third down, on those last two drives. It was pretty dialed.
I
Dave
was
and
talking. Oh, sorry.
Dave and I talk about how the Chiefs don't do anything flashy, and they do just enough to win. And on Monday we talked to this, Dave, how, and Mike, you just brought it up too. They just, okay. Let's not. We don't need to blow our load the first quarter. Let's not just wow them and do all this stuff. And that's what they did in the Super Bowl. Like, just, we'll do enough. We'll just win, and then good enough. We don't need to win week 4 against whoever the fuck. We do this. We'll just be good enough, and we're gonna win, and that's all we got to do. And I think that's a very, the Patriots didn't wow anybody over the years either. It's the same kind of deal. Don't fucking show the world what you got, right? Don't fucking expose yourself to what you have. Hold some back, and then you give yourself a better chance to win later on and surprise some people. Because why win 48-12? Who gives a fuck? Win 15-14. It's still a win. A win's a win, especially in the NFL. You're not proving anything. You got 17 weeks. Win those games, and that's it.
Yeah, true.
It's and like I was talking with a friend today about the game, and he's a big football fan too. It's I think the patience of the coaching staff of Kansas City with Andy Reid, right? He saved, like, when it came down to those last two drives, he knew exactly what play was gonna work in every down. Like, they made it look fucking easy. And it's because they were setting him up the entire time. Just the defense kept him in the game, kept him close. But in a playoff game, unless you got a 10-point lead with 4 minutes left, I would never feel safe against Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. Like, they made it look fucking easy. And that corn dog play, the one that won the game-winning touchdown, that was the same one they won the game against the Eagles last year. Exact same fucking play. And that's just well coached. Like, they're gonna fall for it. They're gonna be so amped. Like, you just take one. They move the receiver in 2 steps. The second that line breaker shifts his momentum, you hit the ball. He breaks. You only need a step. You only need 3 yards. You only need a step. Like, the coaching and was there cheers or groans when that happened in your neck of the woods, Mike, where you were sitting when Kansas City won?
Yeah, more disappointment, I think, but still, I think a general appreciation for, what we just saw, right? I mean, you're seeing, I mean, it sucks to say it, but you're seeing another dynasty, right? And so, yeah, I mean, we saw probably one of the best Super Bowls you'll ever see, and capped off by one of the best players and teams and coaches that we'll see. So pretty cool. It's, I mean, again, I'm not a fan, but it's hard to not appreciate it. Because I mean, the 3 of us are sports fans, right? We're obviously you're a Yankee fan, and you're a Denver fan, and but at the end of the day, when you see good football or good baseball, you got to appreciate it, right? Those guys are pros, and that's what they're paid to do. And you look at a guy like that, and you go, how could you pay that guy too much money? Like, I mean, I think they all make too much money, but that guy, I mean, he's that good. So
Well, we talk about all the time, Mike, about these guys, how much money they make, and everything else, and we laughed like week 1. We were talking about who's that jackwagon from fucking the Rams. How much he makes? He's 45 million bucks.
Stafford, are you thinking about Herbert, the guy from the Chargers?
I don't know what team he plays for, because it's such a non-consequential team, the Chargers.
I think it's Herbert, the Chargers. Yeah,
and he
hasn't won a fucking thing.
He's getting 40 million bucks a year. You're like, okay, why? Like, what do you? The kid coming from Alabama is going to win as many games as you are next year. Who cares? or the kid from USC or whatever it might be. Like, I don't understand, and I will never understand, and no one will ever convince me that these NFL quarterbacks should make this much money, because there's one guy who's worth anything, and that is Patrick Mahomes. The rest of them are just whatever. They're irrelevant.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I mean, I think that, I mean, pay me when you show me something, right? Like, why wouldn't you just roll the dice on a quarterback, like you say, Herbert? I mean, yeah, high draft pick, maybe first overall, can't remember. But, big college career, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, right? Patrick Mahomes, picked 199th overall, right? Like, I mean, those guys, but when they got to the show, they became the best, right? And I mean, so why do you pay a high draft pick or a guy that won in the past? Like, show me that you can win in the NFL, and then you should get paid.
I could give a fuck if you won a Rose Bowl. Well, if I'm a USC guy, so I like the but I could give a fuck if my NFL team drafts a guy first overall, because you know what? It's a different game. Like, how many first overall draft picks, how many like all these quote unquote great quarterbacks turn out to be nothing. Because all of a sudden, you got Joe Burrow. He's into year 4 or year 3. What's he done? He got Super Bowl. But these other guys, on and on it goes. Like, all of a sudden, your career is over. Josh Allen's a perfect example. Dave, 2020, we started this stupid show. We were toting the fucking the everything of him. He ain't done fuck all, and all of a sudden he's going to year 4, year 5, year 6. What are you gonna do? Now he's got to face off with Mahomes for how many more years?
Yeah, his
And
career
now you're giving him $40 million a year to lose? That's fucking stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah, and sorry, correct me, I correct myself. Mahomes was 10th overall. It was Brady that was 199th, right?
Brady was in the 5th round or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
5th or
6th
6th
round,
round.
199th, I think it was. Yeah, so, and I think
I
Mahomes
wonder.
was 10th or.
I got another question about the game. When the fourth quarter was over, did they explain Did they put all the overtime rules on the big screen for the crowd to understand? No.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, they did because I said, there's a guy there that didn't know. Actually, I went with a guy that it was his first NFL game.
Ever? Yeah. Was he? He was.
You have a funny story about the '93 World Series. We'll get to that in half a second too. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, that was first game.
Only
too.
baseball game ever.
Um,
Season World Series
But
victory.
yeah, I was explaining the rules, and if they score a touchdown, then it's over. And then the rules came up on the board, and I'm like, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
playoff rules
So-
are different. Yeah.
I didn't know that
Yeah, I
either.
didn't.
Yeah.
So they didn't
and-
like talk about it or anything. They just put it up on on the big screen for you guys to
Correct.
read.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And then San Fran won.
Because I was sitting here with down here in the tavern with Deanne, and I said, "Yeah, the field goal, and or it's a touchdown. It's the rules." And then I was like, "That's odd." Yeah, yeah. It's and the way it turned out the next day, the players didn't even know the rules. That's odd.
For San Fran.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they said they didn't know.
Shanahan, but Shanahan said that he wanted the ball first because he wanted the ball third. Like he thought that
Field goal,
0 0 3 3 6 6 or 7 7, and then I'll take the ball third where we can win it. So that was his explanation, and I get that. I mean, Andy Reid said he got his choice. He would have taken the ball second, but
There was I saw something today. If it's real or not, who fuck internet, but whatever. That the referee who did the coin toss, he said to San Francisco, "Are you sure?
You sure?
Yeah, we're good." Like, fuck, whatever.
And I mentioned that on Monday. If you're going to take the ball first against Mahomes, you got to score a touchdown. And then not even be 50-50 of going for 2. Right? Because then, you're up by 6. You're making him score a touchdown. And then I guess an extra point wins it. But I don't know.
If let's break this down a little bit. If you guys were down in overtime, it's by 1. The other team scored a touchdown, and now it's your ball. You got 6. Are you going for 2 to win it, or are you playing it safe and going for another possession?
Like the game's over if the game's
If
tied if I take an extra point.
if it's tied, we get another possession, or they get another possession. But if we score, fuck, we win.
You got to play to win, I think.
I'm kicking the extra. I think that game's too right. I mean, who knows? You might kick off and it might go off somebody's foot, and
Well,
and
there it
and you
was.
recover, right? I mean, I don't know. I kick it, and I'm a gambler. Like I like that, but to me, like, you know what what's his nuts in Detroit did. Like I think
Take
that that's
points.
too aggressive
Yeah.
in that
Take
league. It's
points.
too good. It's too good. It's too. There's too. Yeah, their teams are too good, and it's you got to take the points and tie it, and take your chances on a mistake or something else happening.
You know what? I would have a play called for the 2 point and then line up and then even take the delay game because both those kickers drilled 50 plus field goals. And 50 when you're live, 50 that's a long fucking way those guys are kicking that
Mhm.
thing, eh?
Yeah.
That's
Actually, during pregame, Mike, were you watching those guys? Like they must have been hitting some bombs from fucking Neverland. It
Yeah,
amazes me.
I mean,
It amazes me what like if you look back, like you guys both have young boys. Max is 18, 19 years old, and Jasper's what 14 now. You guys, both of you, should have got uprights in your backyards and told your boys to just kick field goals, because fuck me, that's a fucking art that's gonna make a lot of money someday. Like it's unbelievable. Like those guys are doing it, and
I
it's
think it's a kind of a dime a dozen profession though. Like
no.
either you're a lead or you're not.
The worst player ends up being the kicker if he wants to play on the fucking team. And
Or a
they say,
soccer player. Yeah.
well, because they're the worst player. They're a soccer player. They don't want to get hit. Right?
Yeah, they're getting longer and longer though, and more consistent from
From
45, 50 plus, right?
ever. 45 and 50 is automatic now.
Yeah,
It's fucking
it's in
crazy.
the 80s, yeah.
No, I would definitely if I'm not going to. Don't let the GG hear that, but whatever. She was talking about that the other day. Actually, I was like, geez, I'm 50. Like we're not, but anyways. Mike, post game. Was it just subdued back to rooms, or what was going on post game in the Las Vegas, Nevada, after the Super Bowl?
Well, day three, right? So your little bag. We went for dinner, a couple drinks, and we went back to the casino that we were at, and yeah, we hung out for a bit. But I think I made her till midnight or something. We flew at 10:45, busiest day ever at the Las Vegas airport.
I
So
could only
so we were
imagine.
like. So we were like, we're going at 7:30. We cleared security in 5 minutes. Like it was
It's
every lane was
nuts,
open.
eh?
They were prepared, but we were early. So, but that was good. It was, and we were home by, and so it moved quick. But yeah, we didn't get too crazy on Sunday night. But again, you've had a Friday, you've had a Saturday, you've had a Super Bowl. You just talked about age and maybe in my 20s I could have done another one, but I was ready for bed.
Were you the first one out? Were you the one like like what was the rotation? Like who was the first signal caller to say we should call her good?
Well, we kind of disappeared at different times, but would you put me first or
No,
first one
I
out of
wouldn't
bed?
think so.
I would never put you first to go out. No, man.
You're a stubborn prick.
Okay. No, I was near the end, but one guy, he went back to the tables and made everything back that he lost during the couple nights. So he was pretty happy in the morning. I think he lasted a couple hours more than us, but he filled the wallet back up. So
Jesus.
And then so how different would have this trip been 30 years ago?
We
well,
didn't
a
have any
lot
fucking
different because
money.
I remember.
No, but
I re-
in a way, like it would have been a lot different. I understand that.
Okay, if we had the same amount of funds, okay, I get you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's just
Well,
are
we
you
wouldn't go to the door.
Are you more happy that you're doing it at this age as opposed to wasting one in your 20s kind of thing, or is it just
I'm for sure more of a fan now. I mean, just a more, I don't know. Like to me, yeah, it is wasted on, on somebody that's not a fan or young or whatever, right? But I guess I mean, if it was my team at that age, I guess it would be different. But yeah, it was the right time for me for sure. I think it was, I still got enough energy to get at her a couple nights, but not, so I'm not the last one up, but I'm not the first one out either. And at 30, I don't know, or 25, I don't know. I probably would have, yeah. Again, a little bit wasted on me, right? Probably at that point.
been a little bit less hours of sleep? But you could keep her going at that time too when we were 20, 30
Yeah,
years
I
old.
think I'm just saying from an appreciation standpoint, right? Like, I mean, I
100%.
appreciate it now. Like, even though, yeah, like I think back then you kind of would have felt like, I don't know, like, yeah, that was great, but like I just appreciate it now because it's a once in a lifetime type of thing.
No, that's 100%. Like you go to games and everything else. You look back and things you didn't you went to, and you're like, I was there, but you don't recall it, right? Because you get a little older and everything else. It's just better. It's just better. Like it's just one of those things
Yeah.
that yeah, you appreciate it a lot more. No,
You
I
appreciate it.
I can't imagine. Yeah, it's just the Super Bowl. 'Cause it's like that's the biggest. It was the biggest, most watched event ever. The
Yeah.
one
That's
you
not
were at
true.
on TV.
No, it
It
wasn't.
actually was, Dave. No, Dave.
The World Cup final gets more like
No, Dave. It was the
globally
most. Dave. It was the most watched American television show ever.
American, not globally. Like a World Cup final
Fuck, you're a
has
soccer
more
hugger. No
eyeballs.
one cares.
Well,
I thought
well, I'm just correcting you, Matt. Globally,
I
the
think
World Cup final puts more eyeballs on the planet than the Super Bowl.
Okay, sorry. In North
yeah,
America,
maybe. Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought it was the biggest one too. Maybe that's North America, but
no, it still is Dave's
yeah,
wrong.
I
But
mean, and I'll
anyways,
remember it forever, right? I think that again, seeing Mahomes and seeing overtime and whatever, like I think when I'm 75, if I don't have dementia, I think I'll remember the two teams, the score, the OT, the quarterback, right, like the coach, I mean, that's because it was a good game. So
what's the like I've been to like a lot of great games and events, and Dave, you've been to some as well, and everything else, and Mike, you obviously you topped her off this week with the Super Bowl. What's the one thing, game out of game, and it better be Billy Idol, but what's one thing, and not casino wise, not Vegas wise, but in the confines of Allegiant Stadium, what's the one thing that you'll remember the most, like when we talk, well, tomorrow night in Fort McLeod, like what's the one thing you're going to be saying that was fucking cool?
I mean, I think seeing the trophy, right? Like, I mean, that's something that only happens one time a year, right? And you could go to game six in a NHL or or an NBA or a NHL and MLB and not see the trophy, right? And so to me, I mean, that's what they all play for. And to see the trophy and the celebration and the right, that to me, that's always, not always. I've only been to two when I've seen the trophy, and yeah, that's kind of gives you goosebumps, even if you don't not a fan of the team, right? I mean, that's what those guys play all their life for, and it's pretty cool to see the ultimate prize, right?
How many fans stayed in the seats for the trophy presentation? Was there filing out the
I was
doors? Like, what was that like?
actually shocked at how many people left. Honestly, I bet you half or more left before the trophy came out.
Maybe that's force of habit. Gotta get to the parking lot. Gotta drive. Vegas, you ain't driving anywhere.
Yeah,
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
it's
I
just force of habit. Just a thought.
and
Like I don't
even
know.
if it was the Eagles that lost, I would have stayed. I
Because you're
just
there
I don't know.
anyway. It's like, yeah.
It is, like I said, that's what y'all play for. And I mean, like I said, it gives me goosebumps to think of even if I hate the guys, it's like it's pretty freaking cool to see the prize, right?
You're allowed to swear. It's a 1420 podcast, Dave or Mike. You can say fuck. It's not a big deal.
Another question I had written down. So I saw you guys were kind of on the corner of the end zone. Was that in overtime? Was that where Kansas City scored their touchdown, or were they on the opposite side? Like, were you there?
Right in front of us. Yeah.
Oh, so you were at the good end zone for the winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, because I'm picturing how that play developed. So you saw it all the way as soon as he dropped back, like it's over. There he is.
He was wide open. He was like, I was like, oh, yeah.
Game's over.
So
That's
let's
cool.
let's go back 31 years, Mike Davis. Not we won't talk about some shenanigans that you and I, Good and Dave, got into, but we'll talk about the other time you saw a championship being won. How would this compare to the one you saw in 1993 at what was then the Sky Dome, when Joe Carter was hit a home run? You were going to University of Western Ontario, and Joe Carter hit the home run. Mitch Williams on and on. Game 6, I think it was.
Six, yeah.
How does that compare a little bit? Different situation, obviously, different age, but and you're now not 20, right? So it's one of those things. So how do the two compare?
Yeah, I would say totally different. I mean, that Super Bowl was an experience, and for sure the Blue Jays game, I was a fan, and so was the whole country, right? And yeah, seeing that, I don't know, is there's very little chance that I'll ever beat that sports moment, right? Even if I see one of my teams win, I'm a bigger hockey fan and bigger NFL fan. But that's like your team winning in OT for the Super Bowl, or Game 7 in or in OT
Yeah.
in in the NHL, right? It's that was I mean, how many walk-off hits has there been to win the World Series? Is there 3 or something? Couple home runs and one
3, maybe
double or
5,
something
yeah.
walk-off. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know as I'll ever top that. And that was for sure something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And it'll be different for sure, because it was a team that I was lucky enough to be I mean, we were, I think we were all Canadian fans as opposed to Blue Jay fans, right? Everybody was on the bandwagon
Everybody.
at that point in the country, and everybody knows, lots of people know where they were when that home run was hit.
It's funny you mentioned that, Dave. Why don't you chime in here a little bit? But it's funny you mentioned that one of the guys you went to Super Bowl with was his first NFL game, like the first NFL game. It'd be a bit of a like, well, the next one he goes to is going to suck. Like, but it's funny you mentioned, because I remember we were at 1139 Tavern out at your ranch there, and you were saying that Decker, that was his first major league game ever, and he was there, yeah, he was
Yeah.
there, first game ever to watch, and he's like, that's cool, yeah, right on, and then that's it. So he'll never go back.
Yeah.
Why would you go back?
Good friend from university. Yeah, he's from Vancouver, and yeah, Rob Dinning, not Decker,
Dinning,
but
yeah,
Dinning,
sorry,
but
Dinning, yeah,
doesn't
sorry.
matter. Decker was the other East Coaster, but
Yeah.
yeah, first game, and I told him, I said, don't ever go to another baseball game.
Yeah, it sucks.
On any sports ever.
It's never get better than this. Never get better than
Yeah.
this. Jesus Christ, it's fucking nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strive all your fucking life to go to one of those. Yeah, fuck. No, I'm never going to get it. It was all right.
I guess I'm jealous of your experience and everything, Mike. It must have been so cool to be there. But as a fan, it's the NFL, and I get they have to do that. Neutral sites, right? Could you imagine being a hometown fan? Like, I'm sure obviously there was tons of KC fans that were crazy and going high-fiving. But there's a difference once you're in the stadium, in the park, or whatever, when the hometown wins the trophy on home ice or home field, right? And I don't know if the NFL can do that, but that's a difference between the NFL and any other sport.
But why couldn't they?
Well, because you can't organize a week, right? It's not just the game is the thing, but you have the entire week is organized. Like you need the practice fields, you need this, you need that.
Don't say can't. It's a won't. Why couldn't they?
What if it's two cold weather cities? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like what if it's a cold
None of you are
weather?
shaking your head right now for people listening on the podcast, not watching on YouTube later on. Why?
I think it's
I
logistically
think that
impossible.
it's too big a production. And I think, I mean, security at that thing, like they had like, CIA, DEA, Vegas police, FBI, like they all
The
collaborated on how to
RCMP
protect
chimed
that
in.
place. Like,
Whatever.
I
It's
mean,
whatever. Yeah.
I mean, it's a different, totally different thing than any other event. And they couldn't pull it off in 2 weeks. I don't think they could. Like,
No,
it won't.
hear me out. Like
They're wiser not
all of a
to.
sudden we're fucking talking fucking like we're sitting at Iz's Oasis pub fucking 30 years ago. But hear me out. You know right now there's 15 teams that aren't making the playoffs. Correct? Agreed?
Yeah.
So pare it down. And then you can go, okay, well, this team's making the playoffs, but it take a miracle for them to fucking get the playoffs or to get Super Bowl. You compare it, like right now, you compare it down to probably 7 teams in 7 cities where you could have the Super Bowl in whatever city. Really?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not.
what if that you can't put it in Buffalo, you can't put it in Minnesota, because what if they get it? You can't put it in Denver because they're out
So
they're outdoors.
any given Sunday doesn't really matter, right?
No, I'm just saying the weather. Like
Who
logistics.
cares? It's a money making machine.
Yeah, but they can make more money where it doesn't snow.
I think they can make more money this way. I think that, yeah.
Ay. They put
I'd
it in
like
New
it to
York.
happen. It can't. Yeah, but they got lucky that they'll never put it in a cold weather city again.
Yeah.
But wouldn't
Maybe
you rather
Minnesota.
see it like isn't there more to play for?
I would love it. I would love it, but like just for the machine that the NFL is and the corporate event that um that week is, like they just got too much shit to do to cater to all the mouths to feed. There's a ton of mouths to feed, and they got to make
Yeah.
sure every mouth gets fed.
They'll get fed.
Not as much. You got a week to feed as opposed to like you got a week to get ready to feed, and then you got the trough. Like, you listen to any sportscaster, you listen to sports talk, the big time sports talk, Radio Row, and here what are you here to promote?
We're big time, aren't we?
Well, we're not on Radio Row, and we didn't have anybody going through our car wash, so
Yeah. No, I agree. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's an unbelievable event. I mean, I've said to people in the last week, if I had, I would go to 10 regular season games before I went to another one. I wouldn't give that one up because I got to go and it was a great event. But it's I mean, for the cost of things and for what you get, I mean, I'm a football fan, and I go and pay my way. I'm not a corporate citizen that gets a free ticket, but I would pick, if somebody said you want to go to 10 regular season games or one Super Bowl, I'd pick 10 regular season games every single time.
Yeah, like I've been because I'm a baseball guy more than I am a football or even a hockey guy anymore, and you go to games like games like you say, and you meet people and you have a round that's like you meet people and it means more, and it's you get a comfort level, right? And it's like
Yeah.
you have fans, around the stadium. I got a couple of guys. I go into the actual Yankee Tavern in New York, and they when I walk in, they're like, oh fuck, here's this fucking guy again. And so the regular season means more to the fan.
Yeah.
I think because we every
home
fan
field.
every
Home
fan
field.
home field every fan has every fan has a chance to go to a game. Not every fan has a chance to go to a Super Bowl.
Right, and you connect with the regular people,
Yeah,
right? Which is
yeah.
that's
And the
cool.
people who go to games and have been going there because we're up here in fucking Lethbridge, Alberta, who don't have we don't have a regular we don't have a fucking team. So you connect with the people who go to games and you can talk to them. Like the regular season means so much more to a fan, in my opinion, than the Super Bowl and the playoffs. Obviously, you fuck up, but the Super Bowl and the World Series and the Stanley Cup playoffs or Stanley Cup finals, sorry, because it gets pared down. But during the regular season, man, those are fun games to go to. Like they're so fun, and you see people I have a place where I sit at Yankee Stadium, and you see people. Like it's great. It's actually fantastic. You don't see them for 360 days, and then you see them again. Hey, how's it going? Right? And regular season sports is more of a fan thing than the championship things are.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
and I think too, Vegas is a host city. You know, if you're not when you're not going to the game, like the attraction is Vegas. Like so, like whether you're at the MGM or at Paris or at the Bellagio or wherever, like it's Vegas. It's all same shit, different pile. Like when Los Angeles hosts it, you got a lot of other shit to do everywhere, right? Same with Miami. New Orleans is kind of Vegasy, but it's a little bit different. Like so,
I've never been New Orleans yet. Yeah.
neither me, but my wife has, and what have you, and it's
Oh.
it's more to do than just Vegas. Like, what do you do in Vegas? Like, obviously, there's a shit ton to do, but it's a lot of shit on the same pile, right? If that makes
Yeah, it
sense,
is,
what
yeah.
I'm saying, right? There's no sightseeing, there's
Well,
no
and everything else
Well,
outs,
there's some
yeah.
outside of the
spots you could
game.
probably find, and
To your point, though, Dave, outside of the game, that stuff happens 365 nights a year. It's not even,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, sure, there's more people or more sports fans, but it's the same thing, the same pile,
there was some dude at
365
Blondie's
nights.
and fucking at Planet of Hollywood at 8 a.m. didn't know the fucking game was on. Right? There
How
was
was the
some
people watching?
right.
How was the people watching, Mike? Was there any there? There had to have been one person you saw
There must
outside
have been
the game.
something that is memorable for that, like in
Jesus
Vegas,
Christ,
like
I don't want to be
You
that
know,
guy
there
right
actually this time there wasn't, honestly. I don't can't think of that one. I mean, we didn't go to Fremont, so we didn't get the full effect, but no, I can't think of the one real messed up dude or the real yeah, no, I can't come up
No
with.
one coming in at 4 a.m. with the glitter bomb, walked it like with all the glitter on them and stuff like
Well,
that. No.
I was in bed at 4 now, so it's kind of a different story, right? So
there was a couple of years back when I was there. Like I was sitting at Carnival Court outside of Harris. There, I love that spot. The fucking bottle flippers and the things. One of my favorite spots. And there was this guy standing out front, kicked me in the nuts for $20, whatever it was.
I saw that before.
Yeah, so
Like,
I was me and Deanne were sitting next to these two dudes. We were just BS and having a good time. Like just drinking beers, right? Having a good time. And this guy, he was about 25 years old, frat boy. He goes, "I'm gonna do that." I said, "Don't." I said, "Just don't do that." He said, "No, I'm gonna do that. That guy needs money." I said, "Then just give him $20. Just give him $20." He goes, "No, I'm gonna kick him in the nuts." And he wound up and he kicked this guy in the fucking nuts. And his fucking Adidas went fucking flying. After I was like, you could have just given him $20, man. And he didn't understand what I was
yeah, no.
saying. Like
Did
it's
he? Did
just
you feel better after that?
yeah. I said so. He goes yeah. And so he sat down beside us, back down. He goes yeah. I shouldn't have done that. I said I told you, man. Like
Was
I
the
don't
guy
couldn't
kick
do
getting
that
kicked?
someone
very
in the
well.
nuts.
Did he lay down? Did he feel the kick in the nuts?
Oh
Or
yeah.
was oh yeah.
But he's been doing
They
it
take
for
they take it pretty good though, yeah.
yeah, because cause you only get one shot. Like if you because you're probably pretty drunk when you're fucking taking your one shot, right? So
Well,
you might not line it up. You're not fucking whoever the fucking NFL kicker. You're not fucking NFL
well,
kicker
even a
guy.
grazing blow.
Yeah,
The
no,
grazing
that's
ones
not.
actually hurt worse than the ones that are straight on.
Well, that's
I'm an
straight
old
on.
goalie, so trust me. I'm telling you.
You could end up in the fucking hospital.
Yeah, you could,
Well,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Fucking a
crazy.
crushed
It's
testicle,
crazy.
but nonetheless.
But yeah, you were talking about the fans, and I mean, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. That's I think if I said hockey through the ages or Super Bowl, I think I'd take hockey through the ages. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. So good to see everybody, and looking forward to it. So
Yeah, out in Fort McLeod, Hawk Through the Ages, another rendition, Ring a Ding Dong Dandy out there in Fort McLeod. Everybody's coming back home. It's gonna be a lot of fun there playing. Just being around the old rink, the old barn, been around since 19 whatever the fuck it's been, and and to see all the old guys is a lot of fun because and we drink a lot of beers and reminisce with old times, and it's funny how the stories just get better. Like
oh yeah, they do.
and none of them, like it's at a point now, Niner, where none of them are actually true.
Yeah. Yeah, there's people saying that they were there, and I'm like, you weren't there for that one.
Like
I wasn't
But
there.
everybody
you're
was there for the good ones.
you're not old enough to be there. Like it's
Yeah.
fucking like what the hell happened? Like it's a okay, you tell some stories, but anyways, Dave, do you want to
Are
talk
you
some?
guys on the same? Hey, I got a quick question. Are you guys on the same team?
I actually had to decline from playing. I'm going to because I have baseball umpire things, so I'm going to be there having some drinks and on and on and on. But I'm not playing over the weekend because I have some baseball duties I have to
Oh,
uphold. So, but it's one of those things.
well, that's disappointing to hear.
It
But
is.
anyways,
It's one of
who's on
those.
your team that I know, Mike?
I'm playing with my two brothers and my son Max and Todd Ducharme, Gage DeGuinness, Matt Schwint.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
So what do like? How do you like the look of your team? How many
we
are
got a
there? 4 teams?
we got a decent squad. There's eight
There's
teams
eight
total.
teams.
8 teams. Holy shit!
They could
That's
have
a
probably
lot.
had 15.
I gotta really tip my hat. I've said it before to your face. I'll say it to our fans. Fort McLeod, when those motherfuckers, they have town pride like I don't see. Like for a town of what 2,500, 3,000 people to get old farts that live all across the province and the country to come in for a let's get together hockey tournament in the middle of February. I
It's a
tip my
it,
hat. I
it's a
tip my
different
hat.
part of the planet, and it's an honor to have been born and raised there. It's hard to explain. It's
No,
hard
you
to
Yeah.
explain.
Canadians got it going on, and like with your town pride, and I really salute that night, and I hope it's always a success, and I know you guys will have fun doing it, and
You
it's
coming out for a beer, Dave?
maybe it's Family Day weekend. It's a long weekend, even. Oh, is that on
Yeah.
purpose? Um,
No, I don't think so. But
No,
I'm not.
we aren't that smart. There's no way
I'm
we
not.
plan that
I'm
on
not
purpose.
saying no. Or like the cabarets on Saturday. Is that are you guys having a
yeah,
cabaret?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get out on Saturday afternoon then.
you should do
I'm
that.
not saying, yeah, not an all nighter. I'm not gonna fucking end up in a spare bedroom at Red Dog's house. Done that before, and I'm not doing
Well,
it.
you got Sunday and Monday to recover. You have no excuse.
No, the excuse is I'm 54, married with a kid, right? So last time I did
Weak.
that, I was
I've seen 50-year-olds with kids in Red Dog's basement.
yeah, but I'm not a Fort McCludian. I'm just honorary member.
You can, Mark,
Uh,
Mark, Margaret's more than welcome. Okay, boys, and she'll make your breakfast in the morning.
yeah, I might
You're
have to
gonna.
have a lanyard to say honorary member so I don't get jumped.
Oh Jesus! No, the first year that happened, like when Steve was still with us, he me and my brother showed up in 2000 was it 2017, 2018, whatever it was, doesn't matter. And we came in and Steve, we opened the door. And, hey boys, hey, good to see you. You're not staying here, are you? I guess not. Yep. I guess not. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, one of those things. Really, really quite funny. Just no, it's a great tournament. It's a great event, and what they do for out there at Fort McLeod, No, it's a lot of fun and raising money for good causes throughout the town, throughout the Southern Alberta. No, it's a good thing. Niner, you want to stick around for a little who is better?
You know what? We're an hour and 20 in. I'm going to hop. I'm going to listen to the podcast after, but I was planning to stick around, but I think we chatted maybe a little bit longer than anticipated. We got
Yeah,
into her a little bit.
a lot of
Got
fun.
into her a little bit, new skin.
It happens. Getting anywhere. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Okay, you bet. Have a good one.
Okay, ciao, man.
Better. Okay, see you, Dave. Thanks, eh?
See you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
I had a jet for a piss. I appreciate you sharing your experiences. I'm glad you had a good time, Mike, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Right on. Thanks. Have a good one, guys.
Ciao, man.
Take care, Mike.